Welcome back to the ETF Inspector. It's Wednesday, September 3rd, 4:20 in the afternoon. Markets are closed, and this is our daily recap video for our Roundhill weekly paying funds. The first three are 0DTE covered call strategy funds off the indexes, QDTE for the NASDAQ 100, XDTE for the S&P 500, and RDTE for the Russell 2000. The last one is a Bitcoin covered call strategy using IBIT, the iShares Bitcoin Trust Fund, as its synthetic that it trades and sells covered calls off of. I'm on X at ETF_Inspector1. I repost things pertinent to this video, like the declarations today, so we'll talk about them, as well as the trades that the 0DTE funds make on a daily basis, in case you want to keep up with how your investment's doing, or even if you like to trade along with the pros. All right, we take a look at how the market did today. NASDAQ 100 was up about 0.79%. QDTE followed right along, just barely beating it, 0.81%. Now, these funds and indexes really do take a little bit of time to settle after hours, so these could adjust a little bit, but based on how far out the call strikes were, I'll go ahead and just call it and make the video early to get it out as quick as possible. So QDTE outperformed, same with XDTE, with the SPX being up about 0.5%, XDTE just a little bit more. Russell 2000 was down 0.1%. Not sure why RDTE was down further, 0.12%. They should not have been, because they collected premium from selling those calls, but we'll look into it. And then IBIT was up 1.27%. YBTC was not able to keep up because those calls are in the money now. They were up 0.88%. We'll start off talking about the trades. So QDTE sold 378 calls on NDX with a expiration today and strike price of 23,470. We've got the NDX closing at 23,414, well below. So they collected $11.54 per share premium, or $436,000. They didn't have to pay anything to cash settle it, so it's a full $436,000 profit on the day. It was declaration day today for these first three 0DTE funds. So QDTE, big surprise here, announced 28.6047 cents per share. That's a 42.75% annualized yield. That's a good bit higher than they usually do. Surprise upside from my guesstimate, almost 27%, 26.5%. So we like surprises to the upside, so we'll take it. You see, today is declaration day. Tomorrow is X day, and then Friday will be payday. No changes in the holdings here. The deep in the money calls that are far dated, anywhere from the 19th of this month, so that one's not that far, all the way out to the 18th of this month next year. There's $883 million assets under management. No change in outstanding shares, 25,520,000. The NAV at the start of the day was 34.63. Obviously, we were up some with that 0.75%-ish increase. Again, Excel pulling the information takes even longer to settle out than the markets regular do, so that's why we didn't use these numbers up front. But QDTE with the nice big surprise. Next, XDTE sold 657 calls on the SPX at $6,465 strike, collecting $1.73 per share, or $113,000. SPX closing at 64.48. That's well below the 64.65, so we're not going to pay anything to settle those out, and it's a $113,000 profit on the day. Again, it's declaration day today. XDTE announced 21.3094 cents per share, or roughly 25% annual yield. The guesstimate that we came up with last Friday was 22 cents. So I was pretty close, missed it by 3.25%. Not bad on that one. No changes in outstanding shares or anything with the holdings. 9,605,000 outstanding shares. Assets under management, $417 million. At the start of the day, the NAV was $43.50, and share price obviously went up today along with the S&P. Last of the 0DTEs, RDTE sold 657 calls on the Russell 2000 with a strike price of $2,375, collecting $2.20 per share premium, or $144,000. The Russell 2000 closed at 2,349, well below that 2,375. So again, doesn't cost anything to settle it out, and it's a full $144,000 profit on the day. Last one here, declaration days today. Biggest surprise yet, 32.36 cents per share, or a 50% annualized yield. The guesstimate after the week that this is based on, they lost 50 cents a share, 49.8. The average lately has been 26 cents a share over the past month. So I actually dropped it below the average to 22.5 since they lost so much money during that week. And I missed it by 30%. So surprise to the upside. I'm sure everyone watching is happy to get a upside surprise of 30% on that payout. Assets under management, 151 million. Outstanding shares, 4,530,000. At the start of the day, the NAV was 33.50. A little odd for it to be up from that, even though it went down. So usually when we start getting some odd numbers that aren't making quite that much sense, the next day we find out that the outstanding shares has changed. Roundhill is a little slower on putting that information out, so we start noticing it in the numbers first before we actually get that information delivered to us. Similarly, on QDTE, started trading one less contract. XDTE started trading two less contracts, so I got a feeling we're going to see some small changes in outstanding shares. All right, and then finally, YBTC. They don't do 0DTE trades, so nothing to talk about on the daily trades. We just can talk about the synthetic at $66.70. It's currently underwater by about 3.5%. When the day started, it was going to cost us $14 million to close it out, but IBIT went up 1.25% today, so that's going to increase the value of our calls and decrease the expense to close out our short puts, so that synthetic value will move in our favor closer to zero, but it'll still be in the negative for sure. Our sold calls for this week at 63.09 are now starting to get in trouble, with 63.77 being the closing price. They're 1% in the money. They would have cost $4.3 million to close at the end of yesterday. We won't get the updated information until late tonight. But there's $295 million in assets under management, 6,620,000 outstanding shares, NAV of 44.68 before today's increase. And they announced yesterday. They announced on Tuesday, so today was X day. So as long as you had the shares today and had previously purchased them, then you will be receiving that 46-cent distribution tomorrow. This was another one that I was very close on, with a guesstimate of 45.7698 cents per share and an actual of 46.1. I missed this one by less than 1%, 0.86%. The previous distribution was a 57%er. Once we get it paid it tomorrow, we'll slide this actual up. It's going to be less than 57, but not terrible. It'll still be in the 50s. And our next declaration day is 6 days from now on the 9th. All right, that's all I've got for you. Thank you for watching. Keep an eye out for tomorrow's trades, and then we'll talk about it in the after hours video. Thanks again. Have a good night.